Hi everyone, welcome back to Grandpa Mark's Hobbies and build update number 3 of our AMT's 1970 Ford Galaxie. This is a 007 police car. We'll start today with the chassis, and then I'm going to work my way through, and then we'll finish up on the bubble light and how I got it to light and run. So let's start here. First thing, Terry's a little upset because the guys had all played a joke on her and put a box of donuts in the interior. So let me get these all out of the way, and I want to talk about what I ended up doing with my interior, especially the radio. So I had the radio in here. I showed you last update, and I was told, and I want to thank you very much for telling me and really showed me pictures and everything. I took the pictures and saved them because I got to order this kit again so I can get the radio set for the rescue squad that I'm going to do. But it was painted completely wrong. I had the mic wire going the wrong place. Pretty much if I could have done anything wrong, I did it. So I repainted the radio. I moved the mic wire down to the actual radio part of it, and then repainted it too. Got the mic painted. I even painted the little red button on the side of the mic, and got some really good detail in that radio. Here, I'll show you. You know what? Here's a picture of it after or before, and now here's a picture of it after. And you can see by painting that light blue on the face of the radio, it really brought out a whole bunch of detail on there. So I'm really happy that I did screw everything up because I was able to fix it, and I learned a lot too. So I did that. I redid the shotgun because everybody was right. I thought I had it to where it would miss the glass, but it sure wouldn't. So I pulled it, tilted it, put it back in, and now we're good to go. The glass will come down and just barely miss it. So, man, I couldn't have messed up this interior anymore if I painted it with finger paints. So now let's talk about, I made a donut box, Grandpa Mark's Donuts, and put in here, just kind of like a joke, but it came out pretty good. I was just going to put it in for a few pictures at the end, but it came out so good that I glued it in. So there is that. The chassis or the interior is now finished. All I have to do is install it, and we'll be good to go with it. So let's get it out the way. The front bumper, I was able to paint the center emblem. I used clear red for the red, and then I just used Tamiya's gold for the little piece on the top, and I did 2 coats on that, and it came out pretty good. I mean, there's not a whole lot there, but at least it looks good. And I decided to leave the turn signals alone because as you look at it at different angles, that little orange dot in the center looks like it's underneath. So it's just kind of like a mind game thing where your eyes are seeing it different because of the reflections. But I thought it was pretty cool, and it worked out good. So I'm leaving that. For the body, I wanted to make my own decals, and I used the Tester's decal sheet, and I don't know if it was because it was 15 years old or so, but it went horribly wrong. So now this is going to be a Nevada car instead of a Hobbytown car. So Terry will be doing some inside work for us. She's coming from Nevada to give us a hand, I guess, because I completely gave up on those decals. They were horrid. You remember that the drive shaft was too short on this. Let me zoom in here. Wow. Remember, the drive shaft was too short. So what I did is, since this, I'm making this as a curbside, I took the transmission, painted it silver, and cut it off to fit, and then just glued it to the cross member on the bottom on the inside. And now it looks really good, and that's supposed to be there anyhow. I could have cut this and lengthened it. I could have cut it completely out and put a piece of sprue in there. There's like 9,000 different ways to do it. And they were all fine and worked. I could have added to it. And that was just the easiest thing. All I had to do was glue the two pieces of the engine together, let them sit, paint it silver, cut it off, and slap it in. It did take like 2 or 3 different tries just to get the length right. But what the heck, it worked out good. With the exhaust, I have a little bit of gaposis right here that I think I will fill this with matte Mod Podge and then paint it silver and then rust it up. There's just no way I could stretch that to get it to line up right. To be honest with you, that's pushing it to get it that close. So I'm happy with it. I do want to fill that still, but I have to let the gel pen, I did a gel pen on the, I'm pretty sure this is the brake line, going to the back and split. I just did that tonight, so I have to let that sit before I start handling this thing pretty heavy to get that done. You can see I weathered everything. I did my dry brush. This time, though, instead of using the dark yellow like I always do, I pulled out my new color, which is Buff XF57, and mixed it with the dark yellow, the XF60. I mixed it just like 2 drops of the one to 2 drops of the other. Got it on my big ol' ugly fat brush and loaded it up pretty heavy, wiped it off, and then just pounded across it as dry as that brush would go. And it left a nice little bit of dirt on there. Only Nevada's kind of dusty anyhow, so we'll do it for that. But it worked out. It came out really good. So it's not too heavy. I didn't want anything real heavy. I just wanted it to dirty up a little bit. I'm going to pull you back now just a smidge so we get the whole thing in here. There we go. I can come in a little more. Whoop, whoop. How's that? Now, the other thing I did is I painted my gas tank, and then I came back and I painted the trunk part of the gas tank again, because you can never get that right, and it always spills over. So you start doing the flat aluminum and then the flat black and then flat aluminum until you get it to where it looks good. Even with the gel pen, you know, there's little mess ups here, and I just came back with the flat black and touched up where they were, and they're gone. So we're good there. The exhaust got weathered really nice, and that's just the what I always use. My Tamiya's, and it's not even in here, but the Tamiya's Weathermaster, I use the C, which is the rust, and I hit the whole thing after the flat aluminum with the rust, and then came back with my Tamiya's black, the panel liner, and did my thing with that, where you drip drop it here and there, and it spreads out on that rust that's kind of like a powdery. It spreads out and evens itself across and gives it that uneven look is what I really wanted to do. So that came out good. Like I said before, as I drilled out my exhaust pipes, and then I took the Tamiya's panel liner and just put the black inside there, just to make it look like it's going back into it. The tires I used, and I'll tell you what, I am never going to sand tires again. Oh, there's my C. I'm never going to sand tires again unless there's a ring on them. Because what I did is I used my pastels. And I've had these things, Jeepers, for probably 15 years now. But what I did is I'm using this tannish color and this old beat up brush. It's an angle brush, but it's stiff as snot. So I'll just come in and I'll do this number on it. I'll have that wheel on my finger, and I'll just brush the wheel this way, and that gives it, here, I'll show you. You can't screw this up unless it's out of frame. But what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll just paint that on, and it takes a second to go all the way around. Just take your finger and go across it, and it evens it all out. But those look good. Like I said, I'm not going to sand them anymore because I think this looks better. The sure looks a lot more even. I'll tell you that for what I do, because usually when I sand them, it just doesn't. So I'm going to try to break my finger off again. But I'm happy now with the interior, or the chassis, except for that gap. This one's kind of there. That one's huge, and I want to get rid of that. But that's that side. I put the hubcaps on all fours. I was thinking about making one fly off, but nowhere the crew going to let that happen. So I glued them on there just a couple hours ago. I'm going to let them sit. I'll tap the ring with the panel liner just to highlight it a little bit. And the chassis will be done. The interior is done. We're ready to pretty much glue that together. All I'm waiting for now is I have to do the chrome on the body and let that sit probably 2, maybe 3 days before I even try to put the glass in, and then it'll be done. So, because we're right there. And really, I wasn't going to bring it back tonight. I was going to wait until we were done. But I wanted to show you how these wires in this Arduino went for the chassis. Now here's what we have, and I'm going to pull you out a little bit more. Here's what we got going on. I used a single bubble light on the top, and what I did is I drilled 3 holes going at a real sharp angle in right at the base. So it goes through and into the center section of the chrome piece. And then I took one of my pin drills, and I used the bigger one. I used this one right here in there. And what I did is where that hole goes in at an angle, right where that starts, I went in just a divot to go in this way where that is. And then when I pulled that little LED, and I'll show you these things. And when I do the video on how I wire these, I'll put the links for everything, including the software. But I'm not going to do that video now because I cut it with this one, and for some reason my GoPro quit filming, and I don't have where I was soldering everything together, so it's just kind of lost. I'll do it again when I do the squad car, but here are those LEDs. They're tiny dang things, man. But what I did is I ran the wire in that hole, got it pulled all the way into to where it's in there. With my tweezers, I turned this around until the LED part, because it goes in, it comes out perpendicular to the wires, to where that was facing straight out. And then I took a toothpick and I pushed on it until it went back into that little divot in the hole. And what that did is that took that, instead of, being all goofy of an angle, it put it straight so that the LEDs are actually firing straight out this way. With the Arduino, which is just this little, it's called an Arduino Nano. And I have a copy of the software that I wrote to do this bubble light. And I'll give it to anybody who asks for it. It took me a couple of days just to get it figured out to where I like what I'm looking at, and I'm still not happy with it. And as a matter of fact, the next one of these I do, we're going to squeeze 4 LEDs in there. And you'll see when this is going, because I can do a lot more with 4. I can do way more with 4 LEDs than I did with the 3, just because of the way your eye sees things. And I didn't even pick up on it until after I had this all built and the red on it and it on top of the car, before I realized what I was seeing and what I can do next. So this is prototype 1. The squad car that I'm going to build will be, I'm sorry, not the squad car. The rescue truck that I'm going to build is going to be the one that you're going to want to copy. But here we go. The Arduino is all programmed. It's all soldered in. I used 120 ohm resistor on the LEDs because this is a 5-volt output, and that brings it down to where it's safe for these LEDs. And I didn't know that. I had to go on Google and look and talk, and there's a really nice guy on there that came right back with the answer for me. And I had this thing running for about an hour and a half yesterday, and with no problems. So all we're using is an A24 battery. I got a battery pack. The Arduino itself is going to end up in the trunk. The battery is going to end up in the where the hood is, where the engine is, and that's why I didn't put the engine. That's why I made this a curbside. So I've talked enough. Let's put the battery in and check it out. Here, I'll bring you in here. There we go. It worked out really good. I'm happy with it, but I'm not 100% happy with it. You can see where it's kind of mechanical, where if I had 4 of them, I could make that look a lot more fluid. So, but it is spinning, and it's doing what I wanted it to do, so I'm happy with that. Terry's happy with it. The dogs are. So we're going to be good to go with this build. It's going to look great. My camera, I'm looking in the screen right now, and it's overexposing those lights like crazy. They're about half as bright as what you're seeing there. So it's not as goofy looking as it is there. It's more just red light, almost like the Batmobile when he had the light going on the Batmobile. That's pretty much exactly what this looks like. So I am tickled snotless with this. Everything will be hidden. I'll be able to run the wires here. And the only reason why I don't have all this run is because I got to feed all of this through the glass. And then I'll use silver tape and tape this to the back. Well, I'll use black electrical tape, and I'm going to tape this. I'll tape the Arduino back here to the trunk. I'll run the power lines down along the side here. Geez, I'll back you back out. Along the side here, and then into the trunk bay, or into the hood bay. And that'll work out really good. But she's lit, and the headlights, taillights, I'm not doing. And the guy that I was talking to about the ohms for the resistors, he agreed with me. If I put, it would be 6 more LEDs on here. He said that little battery would go really quick. It'd just burn it out, because not only is it powering the LEDs, but it's powering the Arduino too. And I would have ran those LEDs through the Arduino, or I'd have to put a separate battery pack in there, and I don't have the room for it. So there's my logic for all of that. Now the sad part. I had some really cool Hobbytown police decals that I made up. And my 14 or 15-year-old tester's decal sheet, as soon as it hit the water, they curled up, and I'm talking as soon as they hit the water, they curled up into a swizzle stick. So after messing with them for all morning, I finally said enough is enough, because it came to the point where I was almost going to do an office space on my printer. Not kidding. I was fed up. So we are now a Nevada police car. It's going to kind of be like a reverse. Now I can't remember the name of the TV or the movie where he goes out to Las Vegas to help from New York. But Terry's going to be coming from Las Vegas to help us out in Hobbytown until we can get a full-time sheriff. So these decals laid down fantastic on here. I mean, they literally just dropped into place. I even put a protect and serve. They had a white one, so I put it on the trunk just because I could. And I figured it's my car, it's my town. I'm gonna put them where I want. Not sure if they're right or not, but they look pretty close. I see enough cruisers up at work to kind of know where they're supposed to go. I don't remember ever seeing one on the trunk though, but I figured I'm going to do that. There's just a big black hole over on this side. I am going to put the chrome on this, and I still have to chrome everything. So I wanted to get the decals and everything on there, then do the chrome, then let it sit a couple of days, and then I'll clear coat all this. I'm not even worried about the bubble light because I'm using quick shine, and that'll be fine. So I'll probably, to be honest with you, I'm probably going to use my big ugly brush and brush it on. So it'll just be that much easier. There's no sense in me spraying it on when I can get just as good results. I'll set this down on some paper towels, and anything that's extra that runs down to the side, I'll wick right off of that. Shoot, here we go. That's the flat and one coat of quick shine on a spoon, just brushed on. And I've been airbrushing the quick shine on, and the last kit I did, I just brushed it on. And honestly, I couldn't tell the difference, and it saved me the time of cleaning out the airbrush, and it was just, I don't know, it's just quicker. I really don't like spraying that stuff because I don't know what it does. It's so thin that I'm afraid it's going right through my mask. So just to be safer and to try to keep myself healthier, I'm going to start brushing it on. And it really, the way that black came out, I could probably just wax this and it'd be good enough. But I'm afraid to put my wax on just to paint. I haven't tried that yet. And I got spoons here that I can try it. Oh, and I wanted to show you these too while I'm at it. I always do my spoons. And if anybody's wondering the difference between flat, semi-gloss, and gloss, here it is right on the spoons. So these are all airbrushed on, but there is an absolute huge difference on there. But remember, I use quick shine on the flat, on my rails underneath, on my frame rails, and it's pretty darn close. Now this has been weathered and everything, but it's pretty stinking close to the same. So if you just have flat, you can quick shine over it to get your semi-gloss. But what I've learned is no matter how much gloss you try to put on flat, you're never going to get it to where it looks like that. So I've tried. I'm sure you could if you polished the snot out of it and use that, whatever spray can clear coat that everybody uses. But with my quick shine, I don't get it up to that level of gloss. It usually comes out like this, or a little bit more glossy, a lot more glossy than that, but not to that quality. So there we go. We're all pretty much set. I'm going to do my chrome work tomorrow if I can get down here. And then, like I said, 3 days, let that chrome harden, and I can quick shine over it. I'll let that sit overnight, and then it's only a 20-minute assembly after that. We're that close. So with that, I'm going to have a donut and go up and play with the pups. So y'all have a great night and a better tomorrow. And thank you again for watching.